Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. We got over 1,600 audios, old school, new school, current day, and interviews. Hoping to do some interviews by the fall, but who knows where that'll go. In any event, this is the SmackDown review for the 29th of, or for the 30th, of July 2021. We open with a John Cena segment. Fans react to him, and so Cena comes to the ring. He starts SmackDown off. He gets a huge reaction. They recapped Reigns turning down Cena's challenge and Finn Balor issuing his own challenge last week. They highlight Reigns' comment about missionary position and everything being boring. Then Cena notes that if you can find someone that can keep a missionary position entertaining for 2 decades, then keep them in your life. He points out that Reigns rejected him and took Balor's challenge instead. He notes Reigns makes fun of him for wearing the same gear and doing the same entrance for years. Cena said that that'd be like changing The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin, which makes logical sense. Cena said Reigns has no change. Reigns has changed every 2 years because fans don't care about him. Ouch. And then he claimed Reigns is just a stooge named Joe that uses every gimmick there is. Cena adds that Reigns is afraid to face him. Fans break into what chance, and basically they don't even care about this. Corbin comes out. The fans boo and breaks into, well, you suck chants, and then he tells Cena he's sorry for interrupting. Cena didn't recognize him at first. Corbin notes he's having a tough time and said he lost his crown and his money and his identity. Plus, he can't perform anymore because of his groin injury, so his wife won't let him. Anyway, Cena asked the fans if he should help him. Fans cheered, but there are a few boos. Cena then has a few dollars on him. Corbin needed more and asked for a role in Suicide Squad, Cena's new movie. Cena notes Suicide Squad comes out in a week. Corbin asked if Cena would really not help him, and the fans chanted yes. Corbin called Cena selfish and makes fun of him. Cena heard enough and gives him the attitude adjustment. And then they recap Jimmy Uso beating Dominic with Jay's help in the back. Dominic promised to watch Ray's back in the match, and Ray points out that Dominic still makes rookie mistakes, and he wants him to pay close attention tonight. Ray notes that he's still got 1 or 2 tricks Dominic can learn. Rey Mysterio with Dominic defeats Jey Uso in 7:38. Not necessarily a feud that needs to continue at this point, but they're filling time. Rey and Jimmy have a good enough match. Finish plays into the storylines. Fans are into it enough. They recap Rey and Dominic defeating Seth Rollins and Murphy last year. Rey has an early advantage with a tilt-a-whirl head scissors and a bulldog off the ropes for a near fall, and then Jimmy drops Rey into the corner, taking over. Rey sends Jimmy to the floor and attempts a sliding splash. Jimmy moves and rocks Rey with a super kick. Back from the break, Rey kicks Jimmy in the side of the head, regains control. Jimmy fights back and hits an enziguri. Jimmy then goes for a super kick. Rey knocks him off and then follows with a senton and a close near fall. Jimmy tries a Samoan drop, but Rey counters it into the 619. Fans pop the big 619, but obviously get annoyed when the Usos work together to avoid the move. Rey knocks down Jay and goes for 619 on Jimmy. Jimmy catches Rey and reverses it into a crucifix pin. Dominic helps Rey pin Jimmy for the win. And then they recap Bianca Belair beating Carmella at the Rolling Loud festival to retain her title. Bianca Belair comes out. Everyone interrupts. Anyway, Kayla Braxton interviews Belair and notes that Belair has held the SmackDown Championship for 110 days. Like, that's a big deal. 100 days. That's like a little over 3 months. Hello, anyway. They are chanting for the EST thing. Carmella interrupts and demands another title shot. Fans obviously boo that. Belair accepted Vega's challenge after Vega makes her way out. And then suddenly Sasha Banks hits. She runs down to make the save. Banks then gets a massive pop. She runs wild on the heels, clears the ring. Banks then helps Belair up and hug, and they dance to end the segment. They recap Nia Jax turning on Reginald, and then the win for the championship, where Reginald gets defeated. In the back, Caleb Braxton interviews Reginald. He tells Kayla to call him Reggie. He doesn't know who his opponent is tonight, and he's happy to be in the ring. Backstage worker walks up into the shot and runs away. 24/7 champion Reggie defeats Chad Gable in 133. What has Gable done to be this bad in the doghouse? Anyway, match goes a minute and a half, so who really cares? Fans pop for Reggie's entrance and break into some minor Reggie chants. Otis takes the mic and points out that Gable is the challenger, not him. Otis then knocks down Reggie. Fans break into Otis chants. They're willing to buy anything at this point after being cooped up for almost a year and a half. Anyway, Gable is briefly in control. Reggie avoids Gable. Series of flips. Gable regains control and uses a tiger suplex for near fall. Reggie goes for a moonsault, but Gable catches him. Gable hits Reggie with a German suplex, and Reggie lands on his feet. Reggie then hits a flip senton. Otis breaks up the pin attempt, and Otis throws Reggie out of the ring, but rolls through, and that's that. In the back, Sonya Deville informs Adam Pearce that the main event is official for tonight, and Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair against Zelina Vega and Carmella. Anyway, this is super, super typical. Anyway, Reigns and Finn Balor have a contract signing segment, the 2,737th contract signing in SmackDown history. Anyway, back in the ring, Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce are in the ring, and they note that everyone knows contract signings usually don't go well. He said his emotions are high and that punches get thrown. Pearce and Deville want to get things done in the most effective manner possible. Finn Balor makes his way to the ring to a decent reaction. Reigns comes out, Heyman comes out. The entrance is met with loud boos. Reigns then made Heyman move the chair so he could be sitting at the head of the table. Fans erupt into boos for this. Fans break into Cena chants. Commentary. McCaffrey is confused and notes that Cena isn't in the ring. This was kind of actually pretty funny. Reigns then points out Missionary Man already knows that he made an appearance, and he asks Balor if he heard Cena's promo. He noted that Cena thinks Reigns is ducking him by facing Balor instead of Reigns. Reigns notes that if Balor signs the contract, he will smash him and send him off to NXT. McCaffrey added NXT's on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. And ultimately, fans broke into Roman sucks chants. Balor then notes Reigns thinks highly of himself. Balor adds that he'd be honored to take Universal Champion back to NXT. And then Balor is about to sign when Baron Corbin runs out. Corbin beats down Balor before he could sign and tosses him out of the ring. Corbin then is about to sign a contract when Cena runs out and throws out Corbin. Cena then picks up the contract and signs it. Michael Cole and McCaffrey wonder if Cena could legally sign the contract. Heyman approaches Pearce and Deville. Heyman correctly points out that if Balor's name's on the contract, Cena signed it. Pearce claimed that he sees Reigns and Cena's signature, and that's good enough for him. What a goofy segment. Anyway, Deville confirms that Reigns defends against Cena at SummerSlam. Horrible way to book the match, and it just shows that they think the average intelligence of their fans is that of about an 8-year-old, because only an 8-year-old would buy that someone else's name wasn't on the contract. Anyway, Big E, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura with Rick Boggs defeat Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and Apollo Crews with Commander Aziz. 6:44. Not exactly a great match here, but it had to fill time. They didn't get a bunch of time. 6-man matches are usually a waste of time. Anyway, fans are happy with Nakamura's music. McCaffrey jumps on the announce table and starts dancing. I guess he's happy to be back to work. Anyway, Crews sends Big E to the floor, start the match. Ziggler and Roode hit Spinebuster, zigzag combination, Big E on the floor. Back from the break, and Cesaro gets a hot tag, goes after Ziggler with uppercuts, follows up with giant swing and sharpshooter. Rude makes the save. Nakamura gets the tag and sets up Kinshasa, but Ziggler avoids it. Cruz then scores a near fall, but Cesaro makes the save. Big E runs in and gives Rude the big ending for a huge pop. And then Cruz regains control and scores a near fall. Cruz goes for the frog splash. Boggs distracts him and plays the guitar. Cruz then hits a frog splash, but Nakamura moves out of the way and hits the Kinshasa for the win. They recap the feud between Edge and Seth Rollins. The segment is confusing, and the majority of the angle takes place during the commercial. Anyway, Edge makes his way to the ring and they go to commercial. Back from the break, Seth Rollins is standing in the ring and Rollins jumps Edge to give him a vicious beatdown while we're all on commercial. Rollins tells Edge what goes around comes around. He claims he's revolutionary and demanded that they air his footage. They recap Edge and Rollins' feud, and Rollins rants about being the Universal Champion, and if he can't be champion, neither can Edge. Fans break into a "We Want Becky" chant. Would be interesting to see Becky and Seth on opposite sides, maybe a mixed tag somewhere down the road, even though they're husband and wife. Just be interesting to kind of play off that a little bit. Anyway, they announced that Roman Reigns versus John Cena is official for SummerSlam. No mention of poor Finn Balor. Anyway, so Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair defeats Carmella and Zelina Vega, 8:42. Why this is closing the show, we do not know. Anyway, match is fine. Fans love Banks and Belair. Banks turns on Belair after the match is won. Not a big surprise there. Double shoulder tackle from the babyfaces. Carmella does get an early advantage. And McCaffrey basically hints that Belair shouldn't trust Banks. Carmella and Vega try to work together. They fight back with some drop kicks. Vega finally is in control of Belair. Back from the break. Fans break into the EST chants. And Banks gets up, hot tags, goes nuts, and gets a decent reaction. She hits a Meteor on Vega, following with the three Amigo suplexes. Banks then hits a frog splash. Carmella breaks up the pin attempt. Finish comes when Banks hits a backstabber on Carmella and locks on the bank statement for the win. After the match, Banks and Belair celebrates the win. Suddenly, Banks hits a backstabber on Belair. Fans pop it first, and then they turn on Banks. And Banks posed with the title, gets some mixed reactions. Fans booed, but there are some cheers. Banks locking in the bank statement again, and that is the end of SmackDown. Overall, mixed bag of a show. Some good stuff, some completely non-sequential stuff, and for the most part, still not a show that should be on network television. In any event, we'll be back with more right after this.